Hi, my name is Nicole Snyder. This lesson is for grades 3 to 6. It fits the phonics component of literacy. My standard is 1B, number 2. Decode words in grade level text. Part B, break words into familiar parts. I'll first start with Heinrich's The Magic of Language, Prefixes and Suffixes. I'll first go over what a root word is. A root word is the main part of a word where letters can be added to the beginning or to the end to change its meaning. I'll next go over what a prefix is. A prefix is the group of letters that's added to the beginning of the word, such as un for unhappy or re for rewrite. I'll then go over what a suffix is. A suffix is a group of letters that comes at the end of a word, such as for teacher or eater. I'll then go over today's prefixes and suffixes with my students. We have re, dis, and end for our prefixes, and able, aus, and ion for our suffixes. I'll tell students to listen out for these while we read our book. The book that I chose to read is by Ute Krause, Oscar and the Very Hungry Dragon. The earth shook and trembled. The great dragon was awake and very hungry. It was time to feed him a princess, but no princess was available. So the next best thing was to give him a child. Mr. Ballymore, the village elder, had all the children write their names on pieces of paper and put them in a hat. He shook the hat and then picked the name, Oscar. Oscar had to go and meet the dragon. His mom wept bitterly. It took Oscar hardly any time to find the dragon, who was eagerly awaiting him and very, very hungry. He hadn't eaten for 344 days, but when he saw Oscar, he was disappointed. He had hoped for a fat, juicy princess. "Why, you're not even a teeny-weeny snack," he roared. Oscar held his nose. The dragon had really bad breath after his long fast. Oscar knew he couldn't run away, so he had to think of a clever answer really fast. "If I were you," he said, "I'd fatten me up and turn me into a main course." The dragon considered Oscar's suggestion. "Not a half-bad idea," he growled. He sucked Oscar up and carried him off in his lair. Oscar ends up befriending the dragon by making him lots of food instead of him being eaten. They end up having a party at the end, and the whole village likes the dragon. Next, I'll have students complete this dragon organizer. I'll either reread the book with students and have them listen for words that have prefixes or suffixes, or I'll give them a copy of the book that they can read with a partner. They can either list a prefix or suffix individually, such as un, or re, or ing, or li, or they can list the whole word, such as enjoying or interesting. Next, I'll have students create a prefixes and suffixes booklet. What I'll do is I'll give students 6 pieces of paper. I'll have them take the paper and fold it in half like this and in half again to make 4. They'll then cut it into individual squares about this big. You'll have them divide it into 2 equal piles and set it aside. You'll next give them a piece of construction paper. They'll fold this in half, and then you're to instruct them to create it like this pink one. Divide it in half and write the prefix with the definition and suffixes with the definition. You'll then take the papers and put them inside. You'll staple them along the top for your students. Next, you'll take today's prefixes and suffixes and write them on an individual piece of paper in your booklet in the corresponding column. So we have re, dis, and n for our prefix, and able, aus, and n for our suffixes. After doing this, you'll then have students go through the book and look for the prefixes and suffixes. On the back of their cards, they will start a list for themselves. Returned, disappointed, and enjoying. There's going to be some leftover pages in the back. Over time, you can have students look through books, magazines, and newspapers for more prefixes and suffixes to add to their booklet. You can have them add more words to each list as well. That's about it for today, so thank you for listening to me, and I hope you enjoy my lesson.